Israel is a world leader in space. Proof of this was just recently with the Bereshit project, which made it to the moon, although sadly not exactly the way Israel would have wanted it to. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Israel's Minister of Science, Ofir Akunis.
Thank you, Yaakov. Shalom lachem. צהריים טובים, leading members of the Jewish communities, the government officials, Sar Tzachi Hanegbi, my friend, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom lekulam, and I heard that it's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. I am so very glad to see you all today for the annual Jerusalem Post Conference. It has been 2 years since our last meeting right here. 2 years in which dramatic events took place throughout the world and in Israel particular. Actually, it's always interesting in Israel, as you know. Only 3 weeks ago, the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, voted to dissolve 1 month after it was sworn in, and now we hold new elections. Unbelievable. It happens despite the fact that the right-wing parties, headed by Prime Minister Netanyahu, won the majority just last April. So, in September, a week and a half before Rosh Hashanah, we will hold totally unnecessary elections. I'm sure that this leads us to the exact same result, a victory for the right-wing parties, once again to be headed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Thank you. Well, to be honest with you, I know some countries just a little bigger than Israel, as Minister Hanegbi, they manage very well with only 2 big parties. I suppose that you know them from up close. The most important thing that happened in the last 2 years is that the alliance between the United States and Israel reached an all-time high. First, and above all, with the transfer of the American embassy from Tel Aviv, even though it's my city, to Jerusalem last spring. In the past, there were many promises from presidents and presidential candidates, but the fact is that only under President Trump's term the promise was fulfilled and fully realized. I recall being present when in the overwhelming and powerful ceremony, I could not believe it was happening, but it did. The huge American flag was raised above the beautiful building in the Arnona neighborhood in Jerusalem, and the sign saying U.S. Embassy was revealed to all. Today I can say, if I may, that the transfer of the embassy to Jerusalem is similar in its importance and significance as the American recognition of the State of Israel in 1948. But, my friends, it did not stop there. 3 months ago, the president signed an historic American recognition of Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. I am pleased to report that, you can applaud him. I am pleased to report that a few hours ago, we kept our promise in which we call a new settlement in President Trump's name during the last cabinet meeting in the Golan Heights itself, only 2 or 3 hours ago. And I want to tell you something else. The Golan was ours thousands years ago, long before the Syrian occupation there between 1948 and 1967. The third thing, and it was just recently, the US ambassador to Israel, Mr. David Friedman, said what should have been obvious since forever, but was said only under this administration. Israel has the right to retain parts of Judea and Samaria, and I heard Jason Greenblatt said it as well 1 or 2 hours ago. The course has changed. From now on, we say no to withdrawals, yes to other initiatives. I would like to take this opportunity to thank President Trump and the entire administration. I thank you on behalf of all the citizens of Israel, all of them. Well, the transfer of the embassy to Jerusalem, the recognition of Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and other actions and declarations of President Trump are in complete accord with my worldview. The land of Israel is the homeland of the Jewish people. And I can add, the land of Israel, in its territorial integrity, is ours, and its capital is the complete and undivided Jerusalem. I can declare here and now, we shall never withdraw from any area of our ancient land. Not from Samaria, not from Judea, not from the Golan Heights, and we will never, never divide Jerusalem. By now, the whole world should realize that whenever Israel withdrew from a land, the peace was withdrawn as well. As we have seen time and time again, every withdrawal Israel did in an attempt for peace, all the Israeli citizens got back was terror, violence, and war. Well, that was the case after the signing the Oslo Agreement. That was the case after the withdrawal from southern Lebanon. And of course, as we can see, every day, this is the case after the poor disengagement plan that led to the constant firing of missiles, rockets, Molotov balloons, and drones from Gaza to Israel. Every day, setting fire to the lands of our citizens and terrorizing our children. The conclusion is that we need to stop with the failed formula of lands for peace. And we must start thinking outside the box and find new creative solutions to promote peace. The initiative to start process based on economic peace is excellent. We can dramatically improve both the Israeli and the Palestinians' life as well. But, unfortunately, the Palestinians always refuse and say no to any initiative like they did in the last 100 years. Yes, this is a fact. Well, I will say this loud and clear. The so-called settlements are not and never were the obstacle for peace. The Palestinians are obstacle for peace. With their stubborn, permanent refusal to recognize the state of Israel as the homeland for the Jewish people, the Palestinians are the main obstacle to peace. My friends, in my first Knesset, I promised that I would do anything to prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state in Judea and Samaria. Thank you. Well, my position never changed. I will not lend a hand to the establishment of a Palestinian state in any territory of the land of Israel. Never. Now, the formula of a two-state solution is irrelevant anymore, and all of us must stand against this wrong and dangerous formula. It already has been proven more than once. Such positions not only have not weakened us over the years, the opposite happened. They have strengthened Israel. So what is that makes Israel such a wanted and valued country all over the world? How is that so many countries want to establish ties and make alliance with Israel? How is that just a year ago, more than 25 delegations, including science ministers from all over the world, came to Jerusalem to salute science, innovation, and Israeli technologies? The answer is very simple. What makes Israel such a superpower is our enormous human capital. Many of the world's most significant ideas, developments, and inventions which affect all humanity and benefit the whole world were born in our small country. I will give you a few examples. I suppose that you know them. The life-saving Iron Dome, the Waze, Discon Key, the Copaxone medicine are just a few examples of the initiative and creativity of the Israeli mind. And during the last 4 years as Minister of Science and Technology, the ministry has directed great resources with all-time record budget in order to encourage and develop the Israeli human capital, with special emphasis on children and youth, the future generation of Israel. Indeed, Israel is a powerhouse of science, technology, and innovation. And I want you to know that this year, 2019, is a very exciting year for Israel's space community with the launch of Bereshit spacecraft by SpaceIL. Early this month, I reported to the cabinet that I have decided to double our support for the next Bereshit project, pledging $5.6 million in order to realize the dream and make it reality, landing an Israeli spacecraft on the moon. Because we think, Prime Minister Netanyahu, myself as Minister of Science and Technology, Minister Hanegbi, and our colleagues, that Israel must remain the forefront of innovation, high-tech and scientific discoveries as we continue to remain a strong player in our region and an internal ally with the United States. We are a few months before the new decade. I am very optimistic about Israel. We will continue to be a great country for all our citizens and for all Jewish people around the world. As I always say, we are an ancient nation with one great future. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you very much. Toda rabba lachem. Toda. Thank you.